So I'm gonna get my video on Diego Lopes out of the way. I did another video on Charlie Kirk, and now the Discord that has been found, and I really hope everybody involved with that is brought to justice. I've been saying that if I was a liberal, moderate, whoever it may be, but we're gonna talk about this main event. Diego Lopes dominating Jean Silva. Now, I picked Jean Silva to win this fight going into it. That is not to discredit Diego Lopes. Diego Lopes is the boogeyman of the featherweight division. He's been the boogeyman since he stepped into the UFC. And getting this win the way he did, starting in round one, where he gets him down really quickly, and he has some of the best ground and pound in the game. When you are on the bottom against Diego Lopes, there's no safe for us. And I think, truthfully, most, if not every other featherweight in the UFC would have been finished in that first round. But Jean Silva somehow survives, is able to get back up, and he's able to work his way a bit back into the round. Um, Landed a lot of big shots, but the biggest thing was he kept throwing spinning elbows. He kept throwing these, big moves. He was having a lot of success at the start of the fight with the front kick. Landing a couple very flush on Diego Lopes early. He got a bit cocky, I think. Um, but moving into that second round, I thought the second round was a much better round for Jean Silva. He was able to show some bit of defense in the grappling, but Diego Cordaway was the better grappler. And don't forget, Jean Silva just submitted Bryce Mitchell, who was a really, really good jiu-jitsu fighter. Regardless of what you think of the guy, um, but holy man. I don't want to jinx the guy, but I get the Tony Ferguson aura from Diego Lopes. And when you look at what this guy has done in his short time in his UFC career, debuts against Movsar does really well, loses by unanimous decision by being out grappled, but after that gets a first round armbar over Gavin Tucker, knocks out Pat Sabatini, knocks out Sodiq Yusuff. The Danny J fight at UFC 303 International Fight Week last year. That was incredible. It was probably my favorite fight on the card. I love Danny Gay Man. And then he beat Brian Ortega at UFC Noche. Um, O'Malley versus Marab. The first fight. Then, obviously, gets the opportunity to face Volkanovski when it was reported leaves the division. Gets announced he's fighting Oliveira, who he ended up knocking out for the lightweight belt. I really wanted to see Leo versus Diego. It sucks that we didn't get it, but he managed to knock down Volkanovski early. In fact, he had a lot of early success, and the similarities in Volkanovski's fight style and Lopez's fight style are there. But Volk, again, you have to talk about an age winning for a win age a win aging phenomenally. Good lord, already. That is looking like Volkanovski's second best win, right? And this is a guy that has beaten Jose Aldo. You can argue that's bigger than that right now. Um, beat Jose Aldo, beat Max Holloway 3 times, beat Brian Ortega. Again, that's something that pushes Volkanovski in the GOAT conversation. Now, if Volkanovski beats Lerone Murphy, the rematch is definitely something that we'll have to talk about, and maybe I'll do a video about that before December. Again, we got time before Volk fights again. Um, but he definitely made a statement that I am the number one contender in this division, and the only guy with a claim to that is Movsar Evloev. But they tried to give Evloev the title shot, and they couldn't get it done, according to Volkanovski. You know, one of the biggest things I look at when we have a title fight and the challenger loses their fight is the fight after really shows you where that fighter is at and how much losing the title fight really got to them, because we have our guys, right? Darren Till, um, Tony Ferguson, even though I never actually fought for the undisputed belt. You can list dozens of names, right? This was one of the better comeback performances I've ever seen. And again, the fact that it was such a war that he took a lot of heavy shots, um, definitely showed that his chin is incredible. Has he ever been knocked out? He's been knocked out twice. Got knocked out by, who was it? Yeah, got knocked out here by Amir. I was a Kyle in 2018, and then he got knocked out in 2014 on the regional scene. Um, his chin is unbelievable, and again, too, the fact that he went to the one thing that Jean Silva was setting up, and you can kind of see it in his eyes when you're watching the fight that he was gauging that distance, and he knew, oh well, Jean Silva's no boy, it's in this way. I turn this way, I can land this thing, and you know, Jean Silva, to his credit, protested the stoppage immediately. That just goes to show how much of a fucking animal that guy is. And then you obviously have to talk about, and the thing I forgot to bring up was Diego Lopes talking about um the fight nerds after the fight, and he obviously jumped on the cage and he was yelling at one of them. The one I saw was Kill Baralo. Again, I don't know why. BJ Penn. I don't know. You don't need to snoop on who I'm looking up nowadays. Um, but yeah, it's where was I even going with this? Um, what was I even there? Oh yeah, Diego Lopes after the fight. Uh, Diego Lopes. Um, it should be one of the first things that come up. So obviously, I jumped the cage. On there, he was yelling at at somebody. Maybe if I go, Diego Lopes post fight speech. Um, so I think, is there a video clip here? Uh, no, it's about Yair Rodriguez. But at the post fight press conference, he talked about the disrespect. He did say like he knows they're hyping up the fight, but it got to him, and obviously you have to talk about the fact, even though these guys have lost three in a row, the fight nerds are a major, major, camp. I think all of those guys, even though they're losing now, are going to be stars for the UFC for years to come. Um, but dude, that was so brutal. And the fact that Jean Silva survived that first round, man, it was unbelievable. Like, when you look at what's next for these guys, and I guess we can, we can pull up the featherweight rankings. Um, like, I would totally understand if Diego waits for the winner in December. But, like, I was watching Lucas Tracy before this video, and he said, the featherweight division, at least the talent of it, is not what we thought. And to an extent, I agree with that. But, like, again, you gotta look at these guys. You gotta look at their stories. Volkanovski, greatest featherweight of all time. We talked about the Diego man. Evloev, undefeated, screwed himself out of a title shot. Diego Lopes, we're talking about him. Lerone Murphy, spinning elbow against Aaron Pico, that's getting him a title shot. I don't know why Arnold Allen is so high up. He is not top five with a win over Giga Chikadze, even though I love Giga Chikadze. You got Aljamain Sterling, Yair Rodriguez, Jean Silva, Brian Ortega, not what he used to be, Yusuf Wall, Josh Emmett getting older, Steve Garcia, who is it? He is on a ridiculous run. Pitbull looking better, Dan Ige, you know, fun to watch. I don't see him being a top contender. And I'm changing to say Chepe Mariscal is on a good run. But from there, we do take a dive, right? Sabatini, Calvin Cater, who's on a 5-fight losing streak. Jose Delgado, who's fighting Nathaniel Wood. We'll have to see how he does. Sean Woodson, who just got knocked out by Dan Ige. I really think that Diego Lopes is going to win that belt. I really do. Um, it's just, did we overestimate the talent in this division? That's something I'm really starting to think about. But definitely though, ever since this guy has gone into the UFC, he has been a force to be reckoned with, and we will have to see when he fights next. He also is really active too, and that's one of the things that I love about this guy. Yeah, he fought for the title this year. Um, only got two in this year. got 3 in 2024, 3 in 2023. He fought 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 times in 2022, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 times in 2021. Yeah, I love active fighters. I love active fighters who have a fun fight style. That's Diego Lopes. I love you know fighters of character. That's Diego Lopes. But we will see, man. I definitely think that this guy is a problem for everybody. What a knockout! Again, he's the only. I think he's the only Brazilian to win in 2025, isn't he? I remember, like, I read a stat that like Brazilian fighters are like 0-13, like 0-13 main events. Now 1-14, I guess. But let me know what you think down below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. God bless you. Later.